Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to An Unity for All. Today I'm going to talk about food stamps and welfare. This kind of plays into the last video that I posted. About socialism versus capitalism. A lot of people say that food stamps and welfare are bad for our economy, bad for society, etc., etc. And let's put that to rest. These are not bad. And the same concepts I'm about to talk about also apply to increasing the minimum wage. Slight differences, but not much. And this is the opposite of the trickle-up theory. The trickle-down theory. Let's call this the trickle-up theory. Okay? When you give money to the rich, it does not trickle down. For it to make it to the most disadvantaged members of our society, it just doesn't happen. And polls taken of rich people with the money that they are going to get from this recent tax bill shows that they have no intention of increasing employment or increasing wages for their people. What they're going to do is, like Home Depot just did, which is to do a stock buyback. What does a stock buyback do? It increases the value of their stock. How does that help you? Unless you own their stock. And then if the CEO and the people at the top decide to sell off their stock, then any gains that you may have seen are just gone. They're gone. So there's no value in it. All right, with food stamps and welfare, okay, this is meant to help the people in the most disadvantaged part of our society. People with low wages, part-time jobs, etc. First of all, this goes into feeding children. How do people that can barely afford to keep a roof over their head, how do they function in their job? How do they function in life if they're starving? Not very well. You think they're going to move up the ladder at work or get a better education when they can't afford to eat? It's not going to happen. So here's how these things benefit people. I'm going to specify food stamps. When food stamps spend exactly like money in a grocery store. Yes, for the most part it goes to corporate entities in the long run, but it at least passes through and does some benefit to the disadvantaged members of society along the way. So when they go in and buy and use their food stamps at a store, then they're supporting jobs. They're maintaining and creating jobs. Because this funds the cashiers, the stock people, the janitors, the truck drivers that deliver things to the store, and go further downfield from that. And you've got farmers, ranchers, chicken farmers, food processors, packaging, more truck drivers at every turn. This goes back into the thing I did in another video about the Hamburger Project. So you got all of those, dock workers. So those food stamps are supporting all of those jobs. Let's say they're right on the median end, where those food stamps help them so that they have some disposable income. That means that they go out and buy clothes, so you're supporting the people at the stores. Again, cashiers, janitors, truck drivers. Not many clothes are made here in America anymore, so I'm not going to mention that aspect of it. But they go out and buy furniture. It's more likely that they'll buy a car. So you're supporting all of these industries by giving these people some small amount to eat. Their children do better in school. Their children are less likely to grow up and get into criminal trouble. You're preventing all of this with food stamps or welfare. It's the same thing. You're supporting all of these industries and more. If we wiped out or just reduced food stamps, our economy would collapse. All those jobs I just mentioned would largely dry up and blow away. So the people working in the stores, if they're making a living wage, will no longer be doing so. They will no longer be paying taxes. So all these people that are talking about, oh, well, get a higher paying job. Where are the higher paying jobs? They're all being automated, like I mentioned in another video. And the more you have more people vying for the higher paying jobs, then when you have a market glut for that, then the higher paying jobs wind up paying less. That is what happens when you have too many people fighting for the same living wage jobs. The pay goes down. We've seen this happen in a lot of places. When there were a lot of ironworking jobs, auto worker jobs, those jobs paid well. But as plants shut down, the wages went down because there were too many people trying to get the few remaining jobs. So you can just stop with that rhetoric. It does not work. Excuse me. Allergies still getting me. I still got the Vincent Price look. So, all this stuff about how food stamps and welfare are damaging to our society is all a great big lie that is completely propagated by the people that want that money to be given to the rich on the already proven falsity of the trickle-down theory. We've been dealing with the trickle-down theory ever since Reagan was in office. Some people are still riding on this welfare queen myth that was created by Reagan. It was a myth then, and it's more of a myth now. Most of the people that are on public assistance already work. Over 70% of the people on public assistance already work full-time jobs. They're not sitting around and collecting something. The numbers I've heard is that the people that do get food stamps get an average of something like $140 a month. Oh yeah, they're getting rich. So if they turn around and use even if they are, they're getting $140 a month from food stamps. Guess what? They're taking the $140 that was in their pocket and they're spending it in the economy. So you're creating twice the number of jobs with that money. So stop complaining about it. Unless you want to have an extra $140 a month to spend. And no, you are not paying $140 a month. On average, the average American that pays into food stamps and welfare for public assistance, each of us pays less than $100 a year into these programs. So it's all a crock. It's all a myth. You're paying over $3,000 a year. Did I say less than $100 a month? I meant less than $100 a year. But for corporate welfare, you individually, as a taxpayer, are paying over $3,000 a year for corporate welfare. So who is the welfare queen? The person that's feeding their child? Or the corporate CEO making over $300 million a year? It's time for us to take another look at these things. It's time to be awake and aware. It's time to share this information with each other. It's time to shut down all the false rhetoric. Okay, so please share this video with your friends, especially the ones that try to use any of those lies against you. Just push this right at them. Please hit like and subscribe. If you can, please become a patron on Patreon. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.